How far is the beak on the hat? Oh, is that about a quarter, 3/16?
Hi, I'm Bruce Ankeny. Join us today on International Association of Wood Carvers while I demonstrate a wide open mouth funky fella like this.
Okay, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the International Association of Wood Carvers. I apologize for the little bit of a delay there. Seems though we're going to have a big crowd in the room today, so I want to thank everybody for joining us. Dave will be there behind the scenes continuing to let people in as I'm doing announcements. Again, I want to say thank you for coming in. It's March the 11th, a little bit after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today on our meeting, we have Bruce Ankeny. Bruce is going to be doing a demonstration for us. But before we get started with Bruce, I want to tell you a little bit about what's going to be going on in the meeting today in the chat. Bruce has donated one of his carvings, one like he's going to be doing in the meeting, that he is allowing us to auction off, and the proceeds will go to benefit the International Association of Wood Carvers. We have to pay for the Zoom subscription that we use each week, and so we depend on these donations and these auctions so that we can continue to have these meetings. Along with his carving, he's provided 2 blocks of wood. This is that good Heineke basswood that I'll be sending out along with the carving. So we're going to be doing that. In addition to that, I also have a Blake Lunsford Signature Series Helvey knife that I've signed that we're auctioning. So it's going to be one group. So it'll be the Helvey knife. It's a 2-inch blade. Bruce's wood carving and 2 blocks that we're going to be doing the auction on in the meeting today. As usual, the bids will be placed in the chat. High bid at the end of the meeting will win. We accept payment by PayPal. I'll ask for the address of the winner at the end of the meeting so that I can send these things out to you, and we'll work out getting the payment in on that at the end of the meeting. So again, it's the carving, 2 blocks, and the Helvey Blake Lunsford Signature Series knife that I've signed. You'll see here on the other side, Rich has burn in my name and the pig. It says Signature Series 1 on the bottom. So you're bidding on those items. I want to thank Helvey again, as always, for donating knives. That again allows us to continue these meetings. Without them, I'm not sure we could afford to continue to pay for these subscriptions. So I want to thank them for donating and for you all for your bids and all of the people that's contributed to these meetings. And again, it's the International Association of Wood Carvers. We have people throughout the world that comes on these meetings. Right now we have 115 people in the room. I can imagine it's from all over the place. And I want to thank you all for your support and for coming in each week. Before we get started with Bruce, I want to tell you a little bit. We've got Tim Perry that's going to be coming in next week. He's from Fall City's Wood Carving Guild. He's going to be coming in and doing a demonstration next Saturday. Raymond Kinman's going to be coming in on the 25th of March. He's a Disney wood carver. He's going to be coming in. And then on April the 8th, Van Kelly's going to be coming in and talking to us about his carving journey. So that's the things we have scheduled as far as our meetings coming up. I'll be reaching out to some people that I know to see if they want to come on and do a demonstration or come in and talk about their carving journey. So I should be updating the schedule in the near future, and hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and take these meetings into the summer before it gets warm and people start going out on Saturdays and doing other things. So wanted to remind you all about some wood workshops that are available. If you go out and check out Wood Carving Academy, I try to always talk about them. Check out that website. It's woodcarvingacademy.com. You can subscribe there and participate in classes that are saved on there. I think their subscriptions are 1 month, 3 months, and a year. There's some recent classes that's been offered that the recordings are out there, and there's some older classes that have been offered. Some great material. So if you're looking for a way to go out and learn on your own time, make sure you check out Wood Carving Academy. There's some live workshops that are coming up soon that I want to remind you all about. Dave Stetson has a class that's going to be starting on April the 22nd. I saw Dave on the meeting a few minutes ago. He's going to be doing the waving walker. If you're interested in that, contact Dave and get signed up for that so he can tell you the materials you'll need for the class. Janet Cordell is going to be doing the Old Faithful horse on April the 24th. And Dale Green, who's usually on our meetings, he's going to be doing a caricature dog class starting on May the 20th. I'm sure there's going to be some other classes that are posted, so I'll try to announce those as we see that they're available. But again, go out, take some of these classes online. A lot of times you can't get out of the house to get to these classes. And it's nice to be able to sit in your own home and be able to take the classes online. And again, you see all of the information that the instructors share. And so it's really a great opportunity to learn. Having said all of that, Bruce Ankeny's on with us today. Bruce is going to be doing a demonstration on one of his yelling caricatures, again, similar to this one that he donated for us to auction off today. We appreciate Bruce taking his time to come in and join us today. He's been with us before, and we look forward to hearing what he has to share. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Bruce. Again, I want to remind you all, put your bids in the chat for the carving, the 2 blocks, and the signature knife, and we'll call that at the end of the meeting. Bruce, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
All right, well, here I am. I'm not near as talkative as Jared was last week, so you guys better be sure and be asking me questions, because otherwise you're just gonna sit and watch me carve one of these little wide open mouth dudes. So appreciate these guys having us on and all of the work that they do to make this possible. So be sure and support the International Association of Woodcarvers as much as you can. All right, so I don't know, does anybody want to ask me any questions before I start carving?
Oh, I'll kick it off, Bruce. Hey,
Cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about your carving space?
My carving space? Well, we built a garage, I don't remember how many years ago now. It's 28 feet wide by 40 feet long. And the last 12 feet by 28 is my carving studio, I like to call it. It's a shop, you know, but it's heated and air conditioned and very convenient for me to get into. And I spend a lot of time out here carving.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, well, here we go. I think they're going to switch cameras now. And I'm going to carve another one of these little guys, just like we did. I'll lay one down there, just like we did, or that they're giving or selling on the auction. So we'll do another one of these. It's a Santa Claus. The reason that he's green is because some of the Germans out there will remember a belsnickel. A belsnickel is the bad Santa. He's the one that'll bring you a lump of coal if you're bad, or he'll come along like this guy. I called him REPO Claus. He'll pick up all the toys from the bad kids that aren't appreciating whatever they got. So that's what we're going to do, is one of those. So we'll just start out here by taking your block of wood and going down as far as you want the ball to hang. All right, where am I here? You guys be sure and tell me if I'm going off camera or whatever. I can do most of this with just a knife. I will use a V-tool once in a while, and then I'll go to a smaller knife when I go do the eyes and that kind of stuff.
How long have you been carving, Bruce?
I started carving in 1982, so 40 years. And Harley,
I think there's a question about. I think there's a question about what kind of knife you're using, Bruce.
okay, this one that I'm using right here is a deep holler knife, 2-inch. I haven't got my 2-inch Helvey blade yet, so I'm using this deep holler. It does a good job for like flat plane carving and that kind of stuff. It's just a good flat straight blade. All right, so there you kind of got the beginning of the head laid out. And then we'll just lay in the brim.
What size block are you using?
Does that help? Is that, with that light on, is that easier to see?
Yeah, it looks good, Bruce.
Okay. This is a 1.5 by 1.5. This one happens to be 6 inches tall. But you can, some of these, like this one is quite a bit taller than that. You can use whatever size scrap wood that you've got if you don't want to use your really, really good wood for this. So these are kind of fun. You can usually carve one relatively quick, especially after you've done about 40 of them.
Bruce, if you try to stay on the edge of the table, you'll be better in frame.
Okay. And I know Chuck Duck out there, he's trying to keep up with me, so go at it, Charlie.
While you're carving there, Bruce, I wanted to reflect back on something that you said in one of our meetings when we were getting ready for this meeting. Where do you get your inspiration as far as carvings go? I know you're constantly looking for things, and you're probably one of the most creative carvers that I know of out there. So tell us a little bit about where you get your ideas and inspirations from.
Well, one place that I get a lot of ideas from, and I know a lot of other carvers use, it's a children's series of books called You Wouldn't Want to Be. Like you wouldn't want to be on the Titanic, and you wouldn't want to be a Civil War soldier, those kind of things. I really like David Antram. He's the artist that does all the illustrating for those. The ones that I like are done by him.
Yeah, he's got some really good collection books too, not just the single ones, but I know that I have the one that has a whole bunch of his drawings in it as well.
Okay, yeah, I have not got that one, but that would be a worthwhile purchase to people if you like doing caricature type stuff. I also get a lot of ideas just off Instagram. You go through that, and boy, I tell you what, that's a time sucker. You can get onto Instagram and be on there for, oh man, hours. So there's a lot of good ideas on there too. Oh.
So as you go through this, Bruce, what kind of facial traits are you trying to give the guy? I notice you're going really wide with the nose.
Well, that's actually the nose and the cheeks. So then you go in here and pop in your cheekbones, or I'm sorry, the edge of the nose. And then that'll leave the cheeks. That ain't very good. This guy's gonna have a crooked nose because you threw me off. You shouldn't have asked me a technical question.
So now we know why he's an angry Santa.
Yeah.
He got in a fight and crooked his nose.
He got his nose popped a few times. Yep.
Yeah. Well, if you're creative enough, you can come up with something to make this look okay. All right. Is it still in frame good there?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, and the other thing I was telling these guys since before the meeting, in fact, last week when we talked beforehand, I use these thumb guards, And somebody must have said it because I didn't think it up myself. But I put a nickel in here where I push my blade, and man, does that help save my thumb. So that's kind of a helpful idea if you do a lot of carving like I do, because you can end up getting pretty raw. All right, now. So there we've laid in the nose and the eyebrow area.
If you're cheap, can you use a penny?
Sure, but you got to have a lot smaller thumb than I got. Well, not a lot, but you know, at least some smaller. Or you have to aim it in there better.
Bruce, as you're thinking through this, did you plan out exactly what you're wanting to do beforehand, or you just kind of going with the flow?
Oh, I pretty much just go with the flow. I mean, I'm trying to do it similar to this one, but of course, none of them actually turn out exactly the same, but which is good. You know, you want your variety.
Do you ever pencil them out first, or do you just sort of pick a spot for a nose or whatever and go from there?
Well, usually I don't pencil them out, but it's because I've done so many of them that I pretty much know where I want the different features to go. Make you dizzy flipping this thing upside down. All right. Well, this is it's kind of rough in here because I'm trying to go too fast. I guess I got plenty of time. I don't have to rush it that much.
Once you get that roughed out, could you show the side profile just to show how deep you're going?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Does that work? And I jump all over the place while I'm carving these things. I don't, so, here I decided that I didn't have enough forehead in there, so I'm moving that brim up a little bit higher.
So Bruce, I'll ask you a few more questions here. So I'm assuming you're going to paint it with acrylics. What will you
Yes.
use for your antiquing mixture?
I've really been liking this Chris Hammock's turd polish. That I like on certain carvings. I don't like it on everything. Like if I'm doing a regular Santa Claus. Oh, and I can't grab one. I didn't have one close enough here. But they look kind of harsh if you use that turd polish. So for those, I just dip them in linseed oil to finish them.
And what kind of wax do you use? Do you use any at all?
I don't put anything on after I put the linseed oil on. I know a lot of people do, but I just quit with the linseed oil typically. I do some of that Howard's Feed and Wax sometimes. I like that too. A lot of good ways to finish them.
And Bruce, do you do most of your carving with a knife, or do you use gouges also?
I would say I'm at least 80% knife. Maybe even 90.
Hey
All
Bruce,
right, so there-
hey Bruce, do you use just plain BLO or do you tin it with anything?
I thin it with mineral spirits.
No, I mean, do you tin it like with a different
Oh,
color?
sure. Yeah. Yep. I put burnt sienna in with it.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
All right. Well, that's kind of rough in there, but we'll get started on this mouth. That's the feature of this carving. So somewhere right along back in here, his beard is going to come down. And same on this side.
So that looks like a pretty good piece of wood. I'm assuming it's Heineke wood you're carving on, Bruce.
Yes.
Any tips you would give as to how to pick a good piece of wood that carves like butter like this? How do you find those softer pieces?
Well, I don't usually get any wood that's not real carvable from Heineke, but it happens, sometimes wood has a mind of its own and they don't see what's in the middle of their chunk of wood a lot of times when they're cutting your piece out. But for the most part, I have very good luck with wood that I've been getting from Heineke. That's the only place I've ever bought wood from. I haven't tried the Moore place. That's about the same distance space for me, a distance to get to there. So someday I'll give the Moores a try. All right. So there's basically the face pretty much laid out in there. I don't know, that might be better without that light on. I don't know. Okay. So then for the mouth, we just start underneath the nose, not real far down from the nose, because when he's got his mouth wide open, he's gonna have less beard showing. So I start out with just a line across there, and then I run a line straight down on both sides. And then drop it back in the corners. And then put your top row of teeth in there. Okay. There's that.
And
then
about
you go to-
how far back are you recessing those teeth from his lip? Is it about, just about a quarter of an inch or so, or could you just tilt it up and show us, or?
from the top of his beard here.
Yeah, I guess that's his beard. I said lip. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I suppose it isn't a quarter of an inch, but you can make them as long as you want.
Okay.
Some guys that have big long teeth, these are up kind of tight.
Yeah, if you, I was just wondering if you could tilt it up just so we could see the depth. Thank you.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for me to see what's showing on, on this other camera, so be sure and yelp at me if you see something I should be doing a little different.
No, you're doing good, Bruce. Looks good.
Now, what I like to do is I've got a nice flat Swiss made tool here. It looks like it's a number 3. And I like to make sure that I've got room to put that in here for when I'm digging down in deep. So that goes about to here. So I need to come down about this far for his bottom, where his bottom teeth are going to be. And you can make them even a lot longer than that if you want. I did one. What did I do with him? Oh, this one. I did one that's a drill sergeant, and I dropped his jaw way down. So he's anybody that was in the service knows what that guy was doing.
He was blessing your heart.
Yes. It's telling you how much you're going to miss your mother. All right, now what I like to do along here to get this middle part cleared out of here is I like to just take my knife and make quite a few nice clean cuts down the sides. And across the top here. And then you take your tool like this and you can just clean all that out of there. Just like making stop cuts along the edge. And then your side of the beard inside here stays a little smoother, so you don't have a whole bunch of chip and cut marks in there. And do that a couple of times and get her back in there as deep as you want it.
You know, I've only been carving for about 4 years, but it's always fun to watch somebody that's been carving since the 80s. I'll tell you that.
Well, you get so you know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. So you got to be careful. All right, now I don't know if everybody can still see that. There. So I'm going to leave room here for the teeth and the tongue going back in there. So I'm just going to cut in this way and put a ridge for where the teeth are. And then the rest of that sticking up is going to be tongue. And you just got to be careful not to go so deep that you come through back here. I haven't done that yet, but I don't really want to. Okay, so there you kind of got the idea. I got to turn this light back on again. I think the sun kind of went down here in Minnesota.
Hey, Bruce, just a quick question. I know you just recently had some rough outs made of the pig carvings that you do. Do you offer rough outs and also classes? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I do have some rough outs. I don't have a lot of them. I've got some Santa Claus rough outs, and boy, 100 years ago, I used to teach at Waldorf College. I know some of you remember that, but everybody doesn't. And I used to do a rough out every year for that. I've got some of those still. But I've got like Santa Claus rough outs. I did a couple of new ones. I do have, like I say, the pigs that you just mentioned. We do have some pig rough outs. I don't have any place that I show them. You know, I'm not on I don't have a website and all that good stuff. So if anybody is interested in anything from me, I guess the best thing to do is just to message me. And then I can answer any questions and send any pictures and stuff of things I've got.
How much are your pig rough outs?
I got two different sizes. There's the big pig, and surprisingly, there's not much difference in the price between the big one and the little one. But the big one is $27 and the little ones are $25. And they come with I had a pretty nice handout along with them that shows all the different views of them. Are we supposed to talk about that on here, you guys?
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. Anything that will benefit the carver, we want to talk about it.
Okay.
In fact, Bruce, go ahead and tell them how they can get a hold of you if they want to get a rough out from you.
Oh, sure. Well, the best way, like I say, is through Messenger, just Facebook Messenger, and or my email address, which is horrendous. I was telling these guys I didn't know what I was thinking about when I made my email address. It's bruce.ankenywoodcarver@gmail.com. So it's kind of a long one.
Kind of out of screen there, Bruce. Move back in for us.
Okay, there you go.
By the way, Bruce, we really liked your recent hobo carving.
Oh yeah, that's still kind of a work in progress. But I'm running out of space. I can't put too much more on that base. So I was coming up with different ideas for that. That started out with me carving a garbage can. And I sat there and looked at this old garbage can. I thought, God, what could I have going on with that? So I came up with the hobo leaning over, digging around in the can, and it's kind of bloomed from there.
Yeah, I like the rust on the can too. I mean, you captured quite a bit of it. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, that's there again, that you get on Instagram and you can just put in old garbage cans and you get all kinds of images of them. I can get some ideas of how they're dented and how their rust and stuff has made them look. Okay, so there's the basic. There's still a lot of cleaning up to do up on the inside there. But then around the back, I just go around here and put a collar around him.
When you get done doing that, can you flip him back around and pull him down on the screen just a little bit more so we can see that?
What do you want to see, the collar?
The full face.
Okay. There.
Perfect.
And if you're not real good at doing eyes or don't want to put eyes on him, you know, he could just be squinting too. And there's his fur coming down his front. And before I could paint this one, I'd have an awful lot more work to do. I'm going to work on putting an eye in here now. And that's when I switched to my smaller Helvey knife. And this is a real old one. I probably had this since, oh man, since the early 90s, I'm sure. It used to be a lot wider, but I've sharpened it down quite a few times. All right, so for the eyes, you know, I just do that little V cut up above here, and then I just do a cut around the bottom to shape the bottom part of the eye. And then I always, before I do anything else to that, I go across here so I'm sure I got them starting in the same place. And then basically you just chip the corners out.
Hey, Bruce, we just had someone ask if you're bringing the rough outs that you have to the Rocky Mountain Roundup next month.
I'm going to be teaching a night class there of my gnomes. So I'll have a bunch of those cutouts. And if somebody wanted me to bring a rough out, I probably won't be bringing a whole bunch of them to sell because there's going to be CCA members there selling rough outs. So I'm not, you know, there to compete with them, obviously. But if anybody knows of one of mine that they want, I can certainly bring it along. I will be teaching at Wahpeton in North Dakota, and that's going to be the third weekend in June. So that'll also, I'll have a lot of rough outs and stuff there. And there's his basic eyes, and there again, this I'm gonna have to spend time when I can have this closer to me and really clean this up before I can paint it. All right. And then for his beard on these things, I typically do something pretty simple, like you can see on this one. I just make cuts in which way I want the beard to run, to flow, and then do a little V cut behind it, rather than spin. Oops, I didn't do his nostrils. Better show that.
Bruce, tell us what part of Minnesota that you're from. I had a question there in the chat.
I am from Blue Earth, Minnesota, which is way southern. We're 9 miles from the Iowa border, right on Interstate 90. Blue Earth is the home of the Jolly Green Giant. So if you're coming through Blue Earth, you can stop and see the statue we've got of a 63-foot statue of a green giant. 125 miles south of the Twin Cities. The home of Harley Schmidtken. Come on, Harley, say something smart. This is Harley Schmidtken's hometown. I took a lot of classes with Harley when I first started carving in 1982. And he was instrumental in me becoming interested and sticking with it.
I was gonna say a lot of it looked like you the cuts you're making looks like you were schooled quite a bit from Harley.
Harley was always really good at getting a lot of good carvers to come to a show that we were doing to give seminars, and that was also very valuable to us out here in the boondocks, you know, that didn't have it. People are so lucky now that there's so many different ways and venues to be able to get online and take a class and that kind of stuff. Boy, back then we had to hope you could get to one that was close to you, and so yeah, Harley was really good at getting some really good carvers to come in here and give us 2 and 3 day classes.
Yeah, and I want to say I think that it was either YouTube or something. You know, Harley had some great videos on YouTube. You know, I don't know if it was an interview or whatever, but it was quite interesting to watch.
Harley, you're being awful quiet. I know you're on here.
Bruce, were you near Winona, Minnesota?
Winona is over closer to the Wisconsin border. It's probably an hour and a half drive is all to Winona. That's over there in the pretty Minnesota. We're just all farm here. We're all farmland. We don't have anything super duper pretty to look at. But you get over to Winona, and that's where the glacier didn't hit. And there's a lot more rolling hills and bluffs, and that's beautiful country over there.
Yeah, it's my hometown.
Ah, oh, well, then you know.
I've always tried to find people close to that area. Between you and Harley Rafsall and a few others, it's hard to find people from that part of the country.
Yeah, Harley from Decorah down there, that's not too far. Well, we had Marv Kaiser set. He was from Faribault. That's only an hour and 20 minutes from me too. So I've had the opportunity to carve with him many times. All right, well, that's basically it. Besides a ton of cleanup that I need to do. Oh, teeth. We got time? We still got plenty of time.
Yeah, you're good. We're just at 15 till 4, Bruce, so you're in good shape.
Bruce, are you going to do anything to enhance your shadows, like in, let's say, for instance, deep cuts that you made for the hair? Will you do anything with that, or are you going to use the turn polish to kind of enhance those shadows?
This one will be one of these green Santas, so I will use turd polish on it, and that enhances them. Sometimes you can go through stuff like with a wood burner, and you know that makes them stick out pretty good too. But I do relatively deep cuts. We gotta brush his teeth. There's his top teeth in there. And I don't put as many teeth as people really have, because they get kind of looking like little baked beans, you know, and get them too close together for these caricature carvings.
It looks like you really choke up on your knife, and then you like to use your left thumb a lot too. Is that a just kind of natural for you, or is that a technique?
My left thumb?
Yeah.
Well, I always put my left thumb on the back of this thumb and push. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I use the left thumb and do the fulcrum. I do a lot of that kind of carving.
Is that just kind of natural for you, or is that a technique you learned from somebody? Or
You know, I would imagine over the years somebody told me to do that, but I do it without even thinking anymore. On another question I always get from people is how I get my signature on. So I fire up my wood burner here and show how I burn my name into the bottom of the or back of these things. It's a writing tip.
Is that with the ball end on it, or?
This one has the ball end. Yeah, I've had both, and they both work well.
I was going to say, I do that same thing with my left thumb too, but you seem to have a lot more control when you do it that way too.
Oh, absolutely.
What temperature are you going at with this?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, it doesn't have a temp on it?
It's a nibs burner, and it's so old that it's got numbers on it to tell me where it's at, and I can't even read the numbers anymore.
Okay, understood.
So it's probably around a 4 or something on a nibs burner. But yeah, that's how I sign all of my carvings. And I think I always kind of stress that it's pretty important, I think, to put your name on the back of your carvings and a date, because man, the years fly by and sometimes you can't remember, geez, when did I carve that thing? And you know, so it's good reference to look back. Some people number their carvings. They've been numbering every one that they've ever done. Boy, I didn't start doing that. And man, I don't have any idea how many carvings I've done. Thousands. Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, you think you'll have a little time to talk about painting?
Well, sure. I mean, I got my paint table all set up over here too. I can swing over it if we got time to do it.
Yeah, we're just at 10 till 4, so yeah, we have plenty of time.
Okay, well, this is, pretty close. Obviously, if I was really doing it the proper way, I would do a lot more cleaning up on it.
Bruce, can you show me one of your soldiers there, your Union soldiers?
Sure.
How far is the beak on the hat? Oh, is that about a quarter, 3/16?
It isn't real far. It's just over a quarter, I would say. And then this old guy's here, his is kind of flipped up.
Okay. And you do cut back on the teeth. I was wondering about that.
That guy saw something was making him nervous.
Thank you.
These wide open mouth guys, they're kind of fun to do. And then some of your other Civil War soldiers, this guy took a shot to the head. A lot of them are kind of the same as what I did my chess set. If anybody remembers seeing my Civil War chess set that I did. All right, well, we'll throw a little paint on this thing if that's. Here again, I got to turn another light on. Is that going to throw anything off? You're going to work all right?
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, there goes the Civil War soldier. He jumped over the cliff.
Was that the one with the head wound?
Yeah. It might as well be. So for my flesh color, I just use yellow ochre and red iron oxide and just mix them together with a lot of water until I get the shade that I want and keep it pretty pretty thin. And then I spray mine. I spray the face down with water first and then let it kind of soak in a little. And that also makes this paint really go on nice and easy when it's wet like that. And when you put these big nostrils in here, then you gotta make sure you dab enough paint up into them. And then while it's still wet, I take a little bit of just the red iron oxide. And then I highlight the tops of the nose and the cheeks. I try to do it like that so it shows.
Did you use BLO before you painted?
No, the only thing I do is spray a little water on them.
Bruce, what was the name of the brown paint again?
Yellow ochre.
Thank you.
Yellow ochre. And some of these, I don't know whether you can find red iron oxide anymore. That's a tough one to find, but there's got to be some colors that are, real close to that. But I'm pretty sure you can still get yellow ochre. All right, and then I take an off-white or an ivory color, and then that's what I paint the eyes with. And the teeth.
Bruce, what's the name of the illustrator for that book that you use? You wouldn't want to be.
David Antram.
And if the individual who knows of a pattern book by him, if you would either let us know what the name of that book is or put it on Facebook, would be helpful.
I got started buying those kids' books, and my gosh, I've got 70 of them. And they're all history based. So, talking about the typhoid fever and what are some of the other ones? There's a pirate one, and I got an idea for the abdominable snowman. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. It's like a Yeti with a big wide open belly with a belly button. And I call him abdominable. All right, so there you got the face and the white of the eyes and the teeth. And then with this red iron oxide, I also do the tongue. And typically, I'll just take some water and go in there and get all this wet inside. And it doesn't take very much red at all to get the tongue. Sorry, I got to keep pulling it toward myself to see. All right, so there we got his tongue done. And then you take just a little tap of black. With that all wet in there, that it just kind of runs all together. And there that part's done. And this stuff, you know, it dries pretty much fast enough that you can kind of just keep painting. So I got a little brush that I put the eyeballs in, and this one I think I'll have him looking up that way. So you put the blue in there, or if you're particular to brown, you can make them brown eyes or green eyes, whatever color eyes you want. Now, let's see, he's gonna be, I've been doing a gray beard on these Belschnickel type Santa Clauses. And it does paint up pretty fast with, and I apologize, I am not being real neat here. But that doesn't show up so much on the camera footage, does it?
Do you paint thin enough so you go back for a second coat?
Sometimes, but typically I don't. I really like to be able to see the wood grain, you know, through the paint. So I'm not. I'll when this dries, I'll dry brush the beard with a little bit of black, dry brushing over it. And then this is enough for do the fur. And the color. And the ball.
I just posted the ISBN number for the reference book for David Antrim. It's a compilation as opposed to one of the smaller books that Bruce is referencing.
Is it a lot of the same art that's in those books? Do you know?
Yeah, it is. And I think it's a compilation more of what's in the books. It's called The Big Scream, 100 Creepiest, Most Disgusting, Horrifying Things You Should Know. And it goes through, so it goes through the same historical references like that, you know, and, you know, has different items in there as well. But like you said, I have probably, myself, I have probably 20 of the other single books on You Wouldn't Want to Be, based upon Marv referring me to those as well.
Yeah, that Marv and I kind of were on a competition to see who could get the most of them, I think.
eBay works.
Oh, I'm not very good at eBay. I pay full price for stuff. All right, we still doing okay? I got time to put green on?
Yeah, we're good. While you're setting that up, I'll just remind everybody that we're still doing the auction in the chat. If you're interested in receiving one of Bruce's carvings, along with a couple of blocks that he sent to me from Heineke, as well as that Helvey Signature Series autographed Lake Lunsford knife. We'll run that bid until the end of the meeting. And again, all those proceeds go to pay for this Zoom subscription that we use each week to have these meetings. So appreciate your support and your help on that. And again, we'll run that to the end, and I'll call it right before we finish the meeting.
Bruce, before we end this meeting, a great presentation, man. It's good seeing you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, likewise. We don't live too far apart, but we never see each other.
Someday, maybe.
Yeah,
I've got to do a northern loop. I'll have to do a drive-by.
If Chris Wheelock is talking about trying to get a Carve Fest going again, maybe on a little smaller scale than he used to. So hopefully he can get that going again.
Well, that would be great. I also look forward to any exhibit of Marv's whenever it comes around.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, there he's pretty much done. The only thing I've still got to do is put the black dot in the eye. And a lot of times after I paint, a light color like this, I'll go along the edges with it full bore, just so that it stands out a little bit more and bleed it in there. And there we go.
Any dry brushing or rubbing or anything you do on it?
That's right. I said I was going to dry brush. Well, if we still got time, I'll do that too.
On the mouth, on the sides, what are you doing there?
I just put gray, right, just like its beard along here on the insides.
All the way back to the black?
There, yeah, right back to the black. Oops,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm off the camera here.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't do this up under here. Look at all that stuff I missed.
Bruce, what are you thinning your paints with?
Just water. Just water. There we go.
Bruce, if you want, I'll go ahead and go to your other camera and you can show it in front of there to see the whole thing maybe better.
Okay. You go to the other camera, then you see how messy everything is in here. I'm just going to put a little black dots in the middle of his eyeballs here. All right. And there he is, all pretty much done. When that black dries in his eyes, then I put one little white dot up in one corner of the eye to make it look like he's looking in a certain direction. And if I don't do that, I use this triple thick. And if you just put that right on the eyeball, it dries clear, and it looks like, it looks like his eye, the light in the room will shine off of that thing. So that makes a pretty cool effect too.
All right, guys. Any other questions for Bruce today regarding his process or any offering he has? Any questions?
Jared Wood, now you're not the only one that carved and painted a carving in one sitting.
You've definitely stepped up the bar, Bruce. Well, I'll go ahead and stop you now. We'll wait a few more minutes on the auction, so we'll leave that open while I talk a little bit. Bruce, I want to say thanks again for coming on. It's always a pleasure for me to get to talk to you, and I know you and I have talked several times, and I always look forward to what you're coming up with next. So thanks again for taking your time out, coming in and meeting with us, and thanks for sharing as much as you do to the carving community. I want to remind you all about the upcoming Carving the Rockies show that the CCA is going to be putting on. I try to mention that every opportunity I can. That's coming up in September, on September 23rd and 24th. I know a lot of people are making reservations now to get out there. So to get a decent room, you might want to go ahead and try to look out there and see what you can find available, and try to book your room if you can. Again, that's a great show. It's the best caricature carving show in the nation. And again, it's going to be September 23rd and 24th. So make sure you try to go out there to that. I think once again, we're going to be broadcasting live from there as well. Myself and Dave, I think both are going to be out there this time. And we'll be joining up hopefully with Dave Stetson again to have a good meeting live from the show. So we look forward to that. Again, I want to make sure that you all are aware of the Wood Carving Academy. Go out, check out the classes that are available out there. I also want to remind you, on our YouTube channel, we have over 110 videos. We've been doing these meetings since back at the beginning of COVID. We're coming up on our 3-year anniversary, and we've done it almost every Saturday, with the exception of maybe 10 or 12. I don't know. In the summer times, we try to take some of the Saturdays off just because we know everybody's going to be busy and stuff in the summer. But we have a bunch of content out there on YouTube. Make sure you're going out, liking, subscribing that channel, and go out and look at those videos. A lot of free content out there, a lot of beneficial content for the wood carver. So make sure you check that out. Having said all that, I'll go ahead and call the auction. It looks as though, let's see, Dana, if you will stay on, you look like that you're the high bidder. Question about the knife. Yes, it does have the pig on the knife. It's not a hogging knife though, it's just a 2-inch blade. But Dana, if you'll stay on here, we'll go ahead and get the auction taken care of with you. Again, I want to thank you all for coming in on a Saturday afternoon, spending time with us. Thanks again, Bruce, for sharing with us. And again, this is the International Association for Wood Carvers, where carvers are helping carvers. Thank you all.
And
oh, you're going to record it right now?
Well, I mean, you can practice it a few times. We can do like 80 takes if you want. It's not a big deal.
Well, what do you want me to say? Do I need to write it down?
You might want to, if you can get International Association of Wood Carvers down. That's the hardest part for everybody.
Because you always want to say International Wood Carvers Association.
It's all
Right.
Blake's fault.
Y'all blame that on me. That's right.
Well, you ought to see my goddamn email address. I don't know what the hell I was thinking of. I got Bruce.Ankeny Woodcarver. Greg,
Yeah.
you can't even get that on a line somewhere.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Oh, well. International Association of Woodcarvers.
You got it. See, that's easy.
See,
All right.
and generally all we do is have presenters say, I'm Bruce Ankeny with, well, they don't all say that because they're not all Bruce. You're Bruce. So yeah, you can just say Bruce.
I'm Bruce Ankeny.
Okay.
Join us today.
There we go. That'd be perfect. And then get the title in of the International Association of Wood Carvers. And what we'll do is I'll put that towards the near the beginning of the meeting. And when we put on YouTube, I'll be fun.
Okay, so I'm Bruce Ankeny. Join us today for International Wood Carvers Association.
No, International Association of Wood Carvers.
Yeah, I got it written down here. I just didn't say it. I went and abbreviated it. I shouldn't have done that either. International Association of Wood Carvers. Join us today while I demonstrate carving a caricature with an open mouth.
Perfect.
Just like that.
And you can even hold up your one that you've already made if you want.
Okay. Well, join us today while what did I just say I was going to say?
Carve. I show you how to carve a guy.
Demonstrate carving.
Sure. I can rewind it, but not really.
Yeah, we can do multiple takes, so no pressure.
There's none. And we've still got, a good amount of time to do it in.
A wide open mouthed dude. Demonstrate carving.
Funky fella.
A wide opened mouth. Funky fella.
It's all yours to steal, man.
I demonstrate carving a wide opened mouth funky fella.
And that'll get your red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, rubber baby buggy bumpers. Will get your lips rolling.
Ooh. And I told you I was a thespian. I
know, that's why I said.
Have to do la 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 la. Then you had Olson on here doing his stuff.
Right. Yeah, you and Ryan make a good team.
I had fun with him out in Colorado or in Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fun dude.
Join us today on. All right. I'll try it once.
Just try it once. And Jay, if you don't get it right once, you're not going to try it again, or no?
We'll try it once and then you can go.
Well, it is all for you. Try, and then just whenever you're ready for it.
Am I in the right spot?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna black out all this behind me?
No, I'm not going to black out anything behind you.
All natural.
How about this cord that keeps dangling here that turns my light on?
I'll let people laugh at it. No.
There, I think I got that out of the way now.
No, what will happen is everybody will think they need a cord.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta have one of these things hanging here off
That's right.
this obnoxious light that I've got in front of me.
That's the only way you can carve like Bruce.
And you also need one of these stew-by tools. No.
Exactly that size.
Exactly that size. I don't know what the size of any of my tools are.
I don't either.
I go,
no idea.
That would be a good one right there.
Right. Nope, that's not it. Let me get another one.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's say, hi, I'm Bruce Ankeny. Join us today on International Association of Woodcarvers while I demonstrate carving a wide open mouth funky fella like this.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, doggy.
I like it.
And then I can do one rap song.
Okay. Long as make sure you beatbox.
Let me see if I can remember this. Now this is a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer. All right, never mind. No, none of that stuff.
Don't quit your day job.
Okay, here comes my wife, and she's gonna try to slow me down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she moved the.
Well, we're done for the day.
Can I come on again next week?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll try.
You won't have time to edit all of that, I'm sure. Especially not on the live part.
Nah. No, the live,
right.
It is what it is.
Okay, are you ready?
Whenever you are.
You're not already recording, are you?
I've been recording.
The whole
what
time.
The hell? All right.
Go back and watch some of the ends of our meetings and you'll see bloopers on the ends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's for those people that stay around long enough. They catch the fun parts.
Nobody ever watches them, but they're out there.
All right. Hi, I'm Bruce Ankeny. I'm here with the best fellas in, see, screwed it up already.
You're on the right track though.
Okay. Well, I hate to look like I'm reading it.
Have your wife stand back there and hold it for you.
I'll
Right
look
above
like,
the chin.
I'll look like Biden. Hi, I'm telling you that this is what happened and this is what I did today.
You gotta
Well, I'm not
whisper some
supposed-
too.
I'm
Hey,
not
man,
supposed
are
to
you-
say that.
Hey man, are you in there? Hey man.
Look to the right now. Oh, wasn't supposed to say that part.
All right.
Good.
The end. The end.
The end.
The
Yeah, that
funky
was good.
fella's eyebrows weren't moving enough.
Is that good?
Oh,
Well, hold it. They were moving. They're just, I just got to put the stuff on them.
I was
Yeah,
talking
you
about
gotta
the
color
wooden
them
one.
in.
Talking about the wooden one.
Oh, yeah. Well, his eyebrows.
Yeah.
All right. Was that good enough? or-
Fella.
I can work with it.
Yeah, that's plenty.
It's gonna be fun. Don't worry.
Make sure you take out my double chin.
Oh, yeah, that's what I work on with everybody. I make sure that, we
Good grief. That really looks bad on here. I tried to get a,
Just lift your shoulders up and then you can't tell where your chin stops and your
those
Yes,
are,
sir.
can you see out the window? It's snowing like a sumbitch again.
Is it really?
oh man.
Can't see
Yeah,
the
we're
snow.
getting-
Yeah, that window behind you is all whited out.
Yeah, we can't tell.
Well, that's just part of the backdrop.
All right, I guess I can stop the recording and then restart it when we get to actually recording stuff. Let's see.